Talks with Noelle. Talks with Noelle. Where the vibe? Yeah, yeah. Who get a vibe? Who be the vibe? Talks with Noelle.
I am your host, Noelle Francesca, and joining me today is a very good friend of mine. Now, before we get into it, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are well. I hope everyone's had a good day so far, had an amazing week. Guys, I know I've been MIA, and we will get into that at some point because, you know, your girl's been missing for a minute now, but we're back, and that's what's important, the comeback. So today I will be talking with a friend of mine, and we will be talking about mental health awareness. As you all know, I'm sure everybody has a time in their life where they're either anxious of something, kind of depressed, don't know really what to do. You know, all of these minor, major mental health issues we will be addressing today. So quickly, let me let you know who I'm here with. So my guest goes by the name Dr. Leslie. Dr. Leslie Boateng is a general practitioner and a wife with a passion for breaking boundaries around mental health and creating spaces where women can thrive. She is currently doing her PhD in mental health and counselling and practices at the Lambeth Hospital, a facility specialising in mental health. She combines her medical expertise, advocacy for mental health, and public speaking skills to empower women and provide safe spaces for them. Dr. Leslie's dedication to fostering connection and growth is evident in her work as the founder of Faith and Bloom, a women's Christian ministry aiming to shed light on mental health and help women heal. She hosts events and conferences as the founder of this organization with the aim of empowering women to connect, grow, and shine. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Leslie Boateng.
Hi everyone. I think that's such a crazy introduction, please. I was saying to people, I'm just a small girl with a big God, so please just call me Leslie.
Oh, that's right.
But it's such an honor to be here with Talks with Noelle because it's been a long time coming. We've been asking for this for how long? So please, you lot got to give her pressure in the DMs, like we need more of these. But first of all, I want to say thank you for having me. It's actually an honor and I am super proud of you. Especially for putting this on today, girl. But honestly, thank you for having me.
Thank you for honoring my invite and thank you for coming. So quickly, let's just jump into it because, you know, mental health is such a big topic. But before we even get into mental health, let's talk about you a little bit. So how did you get into this industry?
So it's actually a tricky one, right? I think, so initially my background is I done medicine and I went into like just being a general practitioner. And I think during the time that I was there, I realized that I didn't actually like it. So I felt like, so if you guys know, especially now, NHS is literally sinking and we have like 15, like we have to speak to the patients within 15 minutes time frame. But in that 15 minutes time frame, you're not able to kind of like diagnose them or help them properly. Now, obviously me being a Christian, I just felt like if I'm in a place or in a position where I'm not able to help people fully, then what's the essence of me being there? Because it's like I'm just there and it's like
fulfilling purpose.
Exactly. I'm just there because I just have to speak and then just like, oh, come back, you know, in 2 weeks time, etc. But I also feel like the reason why I'm into mental health as well is because I've had seasons where I felt like I've been feeling anxious or having a low mood.
Right.
And I feel like our typical Black African or Afro-Caribbean background, when it comes to mental health, you know, being depressed, it's kind of like looked over. You know, it's like we don't have these things like, you know, get up and continue with life.
Don't pay rent.
Exactly. You know, telling your parents you're depressed is gonna think, are you serious? And I realized that I genuinely like the field where I can help people and bring solutions. So that's actually how I decided that, you know what, let me look into mental health. So when you do medicine, you kind of get like, not a trial, but you can go to like courses where you feel the sense of, you know, doing therapy with patients and how you like it. And I realized that I really liked it. And I think it's through that I discovered, like, I would say my true calling, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So I was going to ask, you've answered my second question.
Sorry.
Which is where did the passion come from? I think you've covered that. So let's move to like fresh, going straight into your career. You've come out of uni. You did 8 years. Am I correct? Yeah, shout out to you because oh boy, the Lord knows that can never be me.
8 long years.
Well done, congratulations to you. So, was it hard at the beginning of your career? You've come out of uni, you've gone into the field. Being a black woman, being a female in that field, what was it like?
So I think I'll speak about two separate things. So I think one of the things is when I was a general practitioner, I think when you finish medicine, you have to do your F1 and F2 foundations in medicine. And that's when you're shadowing and kind of like working as the new start, like doctor. And I think, that was hard, especially being a young black woman. You're already even though you've got the same qualifications as everyone else, you're still looked down upon. That's one.
Okay.
And then two...
Wait, hold on. Let me cut you. Let me just interrupt there. Would you say you're looked down upon because you're a female? Or you're looked down upon because you're black?
Yeah,
okay,
both.
So a bit of both.
Yeah, I think one, you're a female, and two, you're black. That's like double homicide. So it's like, to them, it's like, okay, two things at once.
Right.
But I think one of the things that kept me going is that I knew that I had a purpose. There must be a reason as to why I am here. And especially when I've now gone into mental health, I noticed that, people that come into like the counseling sessions or therapies, or that they come to speak to you for like their mental well-being, they walk in, and if they realize, bear in mind, it's our own black people. When they walk in, they notice you're black, they're like, oh. And my surname gives Ghanaian. So especially if there's a Ghanaian person or a Nigerian person, it's like, they're a bit reluctant to speak.
Coming to speak to Ms. Boateng.
Yeah, they're a bit reluctant to speak to you. But I think, again, one of the things that keeps me going is that I know that when you come, like, I will make sure that I deliver an exceptional service. Like, I'll make you feel comfortable. Right. Because I think one of the things that us black people feel like when they're coming to therapy or coming for some sort of help is that they're going to be judged. And truth of the matter is that it's actually easier to speak to people that you don't know than someone that you know, because of the fear of feeling that you're going to be judged. So I think one of the things that have kept me going, 100% people do look down on you being a young black woman, but it's just knowing that you have a purpose and you just need to fulfill it.
So I was gonna ask, let's talk. So you've spoken about the challenges you faced, people coming in and realizing that you're black. And you know what, to an extent I understand that, because black people, now we're getting better, but initially black people don't do therapy. No, we don't. No. Now we do. Prior we don't. So I remember like one time I was just like to a family member of mine, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I said to a family member of mine, do you want to come therapy me, or like would you like to join one of my therapy sessions? First thing they said is, what's wrong with you? And I was just like, what do you mean, what's wrong with you?
Get back home.
Or like, you're in therapy for what? What's wrong with you? And I was just thinking, this is kind of crazy. So I know that before we don't do that. So definitely I would understand how that would be a challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
So talking about, when people come in and then they don't feel comfortable, they see that you're black, how do you make them feel comfortable? So let's talk about how you handle that. How do you make them feel comfortable? How do you make them know that, listen, this is going to be between me and you? Because they might think you might know one of their aunties from church or somewhere. Next thing you know, their business is outside. So how are you doing?
So obviously the first thing is to understand that I'm in a professional environment. Like regardless of me, counseling them and being black, I'm in a professional environment and my pin is on the line. Yeah? We've got to understand that. So,
as long as you know.
Yeah. So confidentiality is key. Like no matter what, it's key. And I need to ensure that whoever that's coming and they're opening up to me, I need to ensure that they feel comfortable. So I think one of the things is that I set a comfortable environment. When you walk into an environment, you sense if it's going to be hostility or if it's going to be comfortable. It depends on how the person it depends how the person kind of like relates with you, how they engage with you in conversation. So I would say that I never start off the conversation strong, where you're going like, oh, what's wrong with you? What have you been battling for 10 years? It's kind of like just like, let's speak about you. What do you like enjoy doing?
You
like
as a
what?
person,
Like who are you as a person? What do you like as a person? Because regardless, even if you're battling something mentally, there's something that we still hold on to that you enjoy, that you love. Maybe even if you've lost the spark, you still have that within you. So it's kind of like for me to kind of like find out what is it that I enjoy. I think once I kind of capture the type of person you are, it's easier for me to be able to relate with you. And I think this also goes back to, how like when you're working in a professional environment, they always say like, get to know people, like go out, because you meet different people.
You mean,
You know,
you
and I-
praise all sorts of people, to be fair.
And one of the truth of the matter is, like, I'll be honest, like, I don't like football at all, right? But in the recent months, I've had to learn more about football, because when people come and like, oh, I enjoy football, what am I gonna relate with them? Like, I have nothing to say.
You have to be able to at least say a player's
Do you
name or
get it?
something.
So, like,
Oh, Arsenal. Oh, Saka. He's
exactly, yeah, like, he's hard. But now
Right.
I'm able to relate with them in different aspects. So I'm finding myself broadening my horizon, learning new things, so that I'm able to make my patients comfortable.
Okay. Now, so, like I said in your introduction, in your profile, you are the founder of Faith and Bloom. When I hear the name Faith and Bloom, so many things come to mind. But one thing that comes to mind, or one thing that sticks out, simply because of the word faith, I'm going to say it's religious. So talk to me about Faith and Bloom. And in that as well, I want you to talk to me about how much your religion plays a part in what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like Noelle said, Faith and Bloom, I'm a founder of Faith and Bloom. And the way Faith and Bloom was basically birthed is that I realized that within the Christian community, mental health is overlooked, right? It's like, we know that mental health is there, but the first solution is that let's pray about it. Please, before you guys condemn me, I am not saying prayer does not work. I am a full-time believer in prayer. Prayer works. But what I'm trying to say is that you take care of the spiritual aspect as well as the physical aspect. So as much as you're praying, you're reading your word, you know,
Right.
you're going to church, all of those things, you need to also take care of the physical aspect.
100%.
So what I'm finding out is that, you know, people are going to church, they're being prayed over, they're being delivered, and etc. And then they leave church and they don't have the tools to maneuver their emotions and what they're feeling. Because imagine if you're being prayed over because you face depression based on the house or the environment that you basically come from. But after you're prayed over, you go back to the same environment anyway. So
Right.
how are you being equipped to maneuver those things that the household that you basically live in? Are you getting it?
I'm with you.
And before I started Faith and Bloom, I was actually mentoring young ladies, and I've had various, you know, young women come to me about different things, you know, for example, even being assaulted by their own father, sexually, physically, you know, and for them, it's like, okay, like, as a Christian, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? Why am I feeling this? And when I'm opening up and saying that, you know, I'm not feeling well, I'm in a low mood, I feel like I'm emotionally unstable, nobody is like giving an ear to me. And the first thing people say is that, oh, let's pray about it.
Right.
Again, I keep saying, like, prayer is key, 100%.
I agree.
But I always say that if you're going to a Christian person and they're telling you that, you know what, I'm stressed, and you're saying just pray about it, I'm telling you, 9 out of 10, they have prayed about it because they are Christians. They know to go back to pray about it.
Right.
But, you know, when you're reminding them, sometimes it ticks them off. And I feel like as Christians, one of the things that we're meant to do is mirror Jesus, be Jesus-like, and be there for people. And I think one of the things that I always give an example is that, you know, if you look at Prophet Elijah in the Bible, you know, like, he was someone that was able to bring down all these men, you know, and he was able to command, you know, fire from heaven.
Right.
But the mention of Jezebel, like, he didn't, he was so scared that it sent him into depression. Like, he was running to the wilderness and he was telling God, like, kill me, I don't want to live. And God could have said to him, like, remember, I was with you when you did this. I was with you when I did that. Like, you know, just keep doing that.
Right.
But God allowed him to rest and sent him angels to feed him and allow him to rest. Sometimes all we need is for people to be there for us and just look after us, you know, take care of us. Maybe just like, let's go out for a cheeky Nando's. Sometimes I know money.
We can go out for a cheeky Nando's after this.
Like,
Just throwing it out there.
like, funds is expensive. Like, I'm not saying, like, funds right now is hard. Yeah? So what I'm trying to say is that even if you don't have the funds to take someone out right now, go for a walk, you know, or just go visit them or ask them to come over to yours, cook them a cheeky meal. It's just about change of environment.
Right.
So for me, Faith and Bloom it initially, truth of the matter is, it was for women.
Right.
Because women suffer from mental health 2 times more than men do.
Okay.
Our hormones-
Let's get into the statistics. Go
Our
on.
hormones plays
Right.
a role. So especially if you're a woman, I would say, and you're over 50, you know, menopause. One of the studies that I found that I'm working on is that we found out that women in the menopausal age, they're committing suicide more
Oh, wow.
because their emotions and their hormones and their voices that they're hearing are sending their bodies completely off, that they no longer know what to do, that it causes them to commit suicide. So Faith and Bloom was originally for women, but I've realized, don't get it twisted, I've always known about men and mental health, but I feel like I've now decided that I'm going to open it to everyone. Because if you know men don't like speaking about, their emotions. They kind of like to go into their corner. So for me, I felt like, okay, if I do it to men, maybe no one will come forward. But I found out that men are really speaking up, and I love that for us, because men are meant to be like seen. Society or societal pressure makes it seem like men aren't supposed to speak
men
up.
Don't cry.
They're not supposed to open up. Like, you're talking too much about your emotions. Like, be a man and just soldier it. But actually, like, we're finding out that that's causing more harm, and then you're finding out that someone's got high blood pressure, and then high blood pressure is causing them to have diabetes, cholesterol, and then just so many things, and then their health is just not good, and then they can't function mentally. So yeah, Faith and Bloom was literally birthed out because I felt like Christians don't have the right tools that they require.
Amazing. Wow. I agree with that. I love the point that you made about prayer. Prayer is good. Prayer is key. Prayer is paramount. But you should also have something you're doing in the natural to back the prayer. Even the word of God says, faith without works is dead. So you can pray to come out of depression or to come out of anxiety. But if you're not physically doing anything to aid you not going into anxiety, then it's not, the prayer's not gonna, it's not gonna bang the way it should bang.
Thank you. Like, don't get to I'll keep saying prayer will work, but take the measure.
You have to accompany it with something else. Okay, so now let's move straight into it. Let's talk about statistics. So I'm glad you brought in some stats. So I've got some stats here. I'm gonna read them out and then we'll have a discussion. So it says, in England, approximately 1 in 4 adults experience a mental health problem each year. With 1 in 6 experiencing a common mental health problem like anxiety or depression. Mental health problems are the largest single cause of disability in the UK. In 2022 and 2023, around 6% of the population, or 3.58 million people, were in contact with NHS secondary mental health services. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I think that
is wild.
Mental health spiked up because of COVID lockdown.
Definitely.
So again, this what I mentioned earlier is change of environment.
Right.
People like to be able to differentiate, like, this is my home and this is my work environment.
Right.
But where they were unable to leave their home and they had to stay there, and especially getting comfortable in their home in days where they wanted to leave, there's nowhere to go. You're locked into your household.
Right.
And this goes back to even young children that were being molested, that were being beaten, that were being abused.
You can't escape that.
That also spiked up because when they go to school, they're safe.
Right.
So it was like, that was a 24-hour situation for them where they had to be at home. And I remember one of the things that people were speaking about, they were like, okay, because I remember that they started opening up schools for some children. They said, you know what, you can still come school and then go home. So kids ended up going to school. But it's sad to realize that people are, because I think for me, like, my home is my comfort zone. So to find out that someone else's household
is hell, basically.
Do you get it? It's really sad to hear. Because then it's like, if they don't have anyone to say, let's go out, like, where do they go? And then they keep, locking themselves away. And what happens with mental health or anxiety is that someone that suffers with anxiety is that they feel like they want to take control over everything, even though they know they don't have control over it. So one of the signs is that when someone has anxiety and they know things are crumbling, they still feel like they can take charge over it instead of
salvage what's happening,
instead of seeking help. Right.
Okay, so we're gonna come into, there's a few subtopics under mental health that I want us to come to.
That's fine.
But quickly, what triggers mental health? And I ask this because I know that we live in a world and in a place where so many things can set something off. We have like this dominoes effect. So for example, for me, if I wake up in the morning and I'm planning to do something and that thing gets cancelled or something happens, for example, to this morning, I should have had an MUA. MUA cancelled. Now, normally,
that should throw you off.
That would throw me off.
Yeah.
That would affect the dealings for the rest of the day, right?
Yeah.
And that's what happens with most people. So my question is, what triggers mental health? What's like the dominoes effects? If you do this, you could fall into depression.
Okay.
Or if you do this, you can get anxiety. What are the things that we should look out for?
So let me say, like, mental health in general is your emotional well-being, social well-being, and your psychological well-being, right? And it impacts how you think, how you feel, how you react. It also determines like the social group that you go into. Like, are you making friends with people that are doing good things or bad things? You know, it also determines who you go for mentorship. You know, when you're in a bad space, you go to people that will kind of like indulge your bad behavior. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that also, and sadly, even bad mental health or your mental health will determine the type of person you marry. Because if in the season that you got married, you was actually in a bad space, but you got married, you might have reflected a bad partner where they are also not in the right mental state.
Right.
The things that they do are wrong. They act differently. They're always angry. They're abusive. Like,
right.
you know, they have mental health characters.
Right.
So like I said, what is it that triggers
mental health? Right.
I would say there's actually not a specific thing that you can say triggers mental health. So every single one of us, the way we handle emotions, so maybe the way you handle emotions is completely different to the way I handle things, right? So like you mentioned, like, you know, the whole makeup situation could have thrown you off and you wouldn't have been coming today, right? Maybe for me that's minor, and my major thing might be, oh,
You should do makeup,
you know,
right.
and maybe for me it's like my outfit wasn't delivered and now I don't want to come. That's kind of triggered me. I wanna emphasize that no matter how you feel, it is not invalid. It's very valid. And I don't want people to ever make you feel like, oh, like, you know, you just complain about something so
You're
small.
overreacting.
Yeah, like you're overreacting, or it's not that deep.
It's that deep for someone.
If it's deep for you, it's deep for you. Because remember, what I can handle, you might not be able to handle. So I don't think there's a specific trigger. But again, you know, everyday activities can trigger it. So like, for example, maybe you've had a stressful event at work.
Yeah.
The workload at work is a bit too much. You know, maybe your family members are not being too nice to you at home. Maybe you have insecurities. Maybe you're always angry based on how you was brought up.
Right.
It could even be like you generally feel like you're losing people around you. And I also feel like one thing that I've learned, because I'm speaking for myself, but I've learned that, you know, when you're very able to sense things,
right,
that as well can cause a lot of impact on your mental health, because you've sensed the environment.
Right.
You're able to know that, okay, like, these people are being a bit weird, this person's acting a bit strange,
so you're paranoid before
something kind of like
happens.
That's it.
Right.
So even things like that can trigger your mental health. So I don't think it's a specific thing. I think it just depends on everyone individually.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm just stopping the pod for a second, all right? I need you guys to do me a quick favor. Whilst you're on our page right now, whilst you're listening to us, wherever you're listening to us or watching us from right now, I need you to like, subscribe, and share. Do me a favor and do that for me right now. Just like, subscribe, and share. And when you're done watching the episode, make sure you drop a comment into there. I promise I will reply to every comment. So drop your comment and I will reply back to you. I just needed to get this out there. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back into the pod. So, what's your vision for mental health, especially in an African home or in a black home? So when I say black, I'm talking Afro, Caribbean,
everyone.
What's your
vision? My actual vision, like my end goal, is to shed light on mental health. Like, my biggest prayer, or the biggest thing that lays on my heart, that my heart desires, is that mental health will actually be something that we speak about as normal, and that we'll recognize it. We won't kind of like push to that, because you know, African houses like, oh, like, I'm depressed in this household. How? Then it's like comparing. People have it worse. People are going through this.
Yeah.
They will give. You know, they will compare.
Tell you don't pay mortgage. Why are you depressed?
Exactly. I've seen friends, you know, family, where they've come out to say they feel like they're depressed, and their family are telling them that we don't have that in this household. This family, we're not depressed. Carry on with your normal life. My aim is to build a community so strong that even the people within the community go out and spread awareness about mental health, especially for me in the Christian community. Like, I want it to be so strong that, you know, even when you're in church, you notice that this person does have spiritual aspect, but their mental health seems off.
Right.
Because one of the things I've noticed, especially in church, someone doesn't come to church for 2 Sundays and it's like, oh, you know, they don't want to come or they're not serious, but they're actually battling something.
Right.
Have you taken your time out to call them to see, are they okay?
Right.
Do they need help? What, like, you know, everyone's quick
Yeah.
to point fingers, but have you actually done a welfare check? Like, are they okay? So, yeah, my vision is to shed light and break the stigma about mental health, and let's have a comfortable conversation where people can open up and say, I've had a tough season and I want to speak to you.
Amazing. I love that. Because I've heard stories, I've seen people where like somebody will go to church and say they feel some type of way, or this has happened, or they're depressed or whatever, and I'm like, it's demonic. And yes, the spiritual side, I understand how you would say that comes from. You know, like you said with the story of Elijah, the Bible says the spirit of heaviness came upon him. You know, same thing with King, the spirit of heaviness came upon him, David played and then it went away. So I get the spiritual aspect of that. But again, like you're saying, we also need to factor in the physical elements, like what can I do not to be depressed?
Exactly.
What triggers me? Before I go into depression, what makes me feel like this?
Exactly.
And I can only say that because I had an amazing therapist. Shout out to Tracy. By the way, this is not an ad, but she was an amazing therapist that helps me through some grieving periods. So shout out to her. So I totally understand. And then before we go into the subtopics, this is a question that do you think, has mental health become an excuse to misbehave? Because some people be doing some things and then they be blaming it on, well, that's just the way I am though. Well, I was depressed. Well, I have anxiety issues. I have trust issues. I have this. Has mental health, I understand for like the people that seriously suffer from mental health, my heart is with you. My heart goes out to you. But has mental health become an excuse for people to misbehave?
I feel like in life in general, people milk everything.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
You have some people that use certain things to their advantage. Right? You have someone that's sick and they are sick. And then there's someone that will be like, they probably was sick, but they still milk it like, I'm still sick.
Right.
So I think the same thing with mental health. I think everything and anything that's there, people will use that to their advantage.
Of course.
Are people misbehaving with mental health? I would say it's crazy because to a certain extent that might be, you know, their minds acting up and that's why they're behaving a certain way. It's hard to say, but
yes or no.
No, I definitely agree with what you're saying is that people do milk it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice and short. Right, now let's get into these subtopics. So I have a few topics here, but I'm conscious of time, so I'm just going to pick a few. Let's start with navigating mental health in an African home. How do you navigate, or how, from a doctor's point of view, how should African parents help their children navigate mental health? Or how should African parents themselves navigate mental health? Because I know of an instance of a lady that gave birth, had postmortem depression, wanted to like, not kill her, killing her child is extreme, but
I know what you mean.
just wanted to get rid of the child,
baby,
just so that she could have her life back. And everyone's like, she's going mad, she's this, she's that. And it was just, she was going through depression and nobody knew. So how do you navigate depression in an African household?
I think, so number one, if you are the one that's going through depression or whatever it is that you're feeling, that you know, when you are going through something, mental health,
right,
you feel you're no longer yourself. You know that there's something wrong, but it's like you're holding on to it. You don't want to open up just yet.
Don't want it to be real.
Exactly.
Right.
I think the first I say to everyone is to speak up. Even if you can't speak up to your household, speak up to anyone first.
Right.
That you trust them, and hopefully sometimes I feel like when you speak up to someone, you begin to realize your truth and you're like, oh, I actually should just tell my family or my household, like, to be honest.
Right.
Second thing is parents. I think you need to give your children grace. Like, you brought your children to this world. Like, I know that it's hard to accept that your children are battling things mentally. Now, one of the things that I realized that Black people, one of the things they said that they didn't want to say that their children have anything mental,
right,
because they don't want it to go on their record.
Okay, that's from when people come in to see you,
Right.
Okay.
My thing is, yeah, would you rather your child has it on record so that when people look at their file, they can seek help or they can give them extra assistance, or would,
Right.
would you want your child to suffer? Because my thing is, yeah, even taking it out of depression, there's children that suffer from autism. Well, and remember, autism is a spectrum. So you can be on the lowest spectrum, but you still know that there's something wrong with you. You take time to process certain things.
Right.
And, mix. And sometimes I know that secondary school will tell you, I feel like your child is on a spectrum. And
Right.
parents will say no, because, that's not, I don't want that on my file. I don't want that on their record. I don't want it. But you're letting your child suffer. And what it is that, during secondary school, they can go through it, they can push through it, and then they go to sixth form or college, and then they're struggling because, the older you get, the more independent you're supposed to be. So the less support you get. And then you go to uni and that's it. And then your children are realizing that they needed more help. Are you understanding? So I think give your children grace. Like, be there for them. Like, give a listening ear to them. Like, support them emotionally. Whatever help that you can seek for them to help them get better, do that.
Amazing. Now, let's jump into depression.
Yeah.
I mean, take my time with this. Depression is a big topic.
It is.
Comes from so many places, comes from so many things. Depression can be linked to so many things, can be linked to anxiety, can be linked to grief.
Yeah.
Describe what depression looks like. Bearing in mind, I know depression looks different from for everybody.
Yeah.
But what would be one of the common things to look out for to notice that someone may be on the verge of being depressed?
I think it's so funny. I'm laughing now, but depression has so many different
Characteristics.
and signs.
Right.
I feel like that's one of the things that us black people are going through, is that we feel like, when someone's depressed, they're supposed to look a certain way or act a certain way. But one of the things that I would say is that first sign of being depressed is constantly irritated. When someone is constantly irritated. And what's so funny is that in society, when someone is constantly irritated, they just seem like the person,
annoying person.
the person that's always angry. And she's always angry. Like, what's wrong with her? Like, she's got anger issue. Like, just put her to the side. But they could actually be depressed. Someone that's depressed, it could look like them being sad all the time. They're always, there's always something. They're always sad. They're always moaning like, I'm always overwhelmed. I'm sad. That's a sign of depression. Extra tired, like fatigue, is a sign of depression. So if y'all always tired, y'all gotta check that. But yeah, like,
no, but I don't see.
Extra tired. And then one of the things is that I've learned is that overeating or not eating.
Okay.
People eat themselves like through depression. It's because it's like comfort eating.
Right.
And then some people don't eat at all. They lose appetite.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've also noticed is self-isolation. When people are depressed, they no longer want to be around people. I just want to be alone. I'm not interested. They come to something and they're the first one to leave.
Right.
It's a sign of depression as well.
Right.
One of the things, which are the rare, I'm laughing at this year, but one of the things is constipation is a sign of depression. It's crazy. It's crazy, but constipation is a sign of depression. I'll tell you why. Because remember,
please.
if
because I eat a lot of bread, but that's because I like bread. So obviously, right.
What I'm saying is that mentally, if your mind is not functioning as normal, remember, whatever is going up here is going to release the sensations to your body.
Right.
Like, that your stomach is also a muscle. Right. So if you're tensed up there, you're stressed, that's going to send a signal to your bowels and it's going to be tensed up. You're going to be constipated.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, and lack of energy is also a sign of depression. So I think those things are signs to look out for. So when you notice, when someone tells you, you hear people like, I always have tough time like going to the toilet. Check them like, what's going on out here? Is everything okay? But I'm laughing at it now, but those are small signs. But I don't think, like I said, depression, you can have like a specific thing to say, this is what depression looks like. Because someone that's going through depression can be a hoarder. Constant clutter, they have things around them, they don't want to let go of things, like they're actually a hoarder, like they hold on to things.
Right.
And then you can have someone that's depressed and they're always talking, overly talking. And then they have someone that's depressed and they have really low self-confidence.
Right.
So like their self-esteem is down and that is what's triggering their depression. So just
Right.
things like there's various things, but I think these are signs that you should look out for when you feel like someone's acting a bit out of their norm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about anxiety. Now, you know there's a popular song going on right now
Yeah.
that everybody's singing,
Yeah.
and it's about anxiety.
Yeah.
So, what causes people to become anxious? Now, I know it's so many things. Some
Yeah.
people and this is something I learned when I was going to therapy. Some people have social anxiety. Like, say you invite me out to a party. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna wear? I get like 5 outfits, try all of them on, keep trying them on, decide what, like, you're anxious about what to wear. And I never thought it was that deep, but I didn't know it's kind of deep.
Yeah.
So talk to me about anxiety. How can we assist someone who is constantly anxious, has anxiety issues? What can we do to help them?
So someone that has anxiety already, there's a lot of things going through their mind.
Right.
They hear, they sense, they feel different things. So you mentioned social anxiety. Someone that has social anxiety can actually have a panic attack when they go to a large crowd, right? If they are, sometimes they have to prep themselves from like a week before, knowing that maybe on Sunday they need to go to church.
Right.
And sometimes I don't know if you guys know, like if you know someone that's suffering from anxiety, you might notice that when they're in a large environment or a large crowd, they're often silent. It's because they have to speak to themselves to kind of like open up and block out all the noise or the sound.
Right.
Someone with anxiety as well. So one of the things I say to people is that anxiety is, we call it a silent killer. Anxiety is the start of depression.
Okay.
So if I look at my patient's health record, and then they might not have depression or stage 3 depression or whatever they have.
Right.
If you look 10 years before that, they were suffering from anxiety. Anxiety is the root cause of most of mental health, especially depression. And I think one of the signs with someone that has anxiety is having little to no interest into something. When you are anxious, you're unable to focus on one thing for a long period of time. So you find out that someone that has anxiety, they might be impulsive.
Okay.
Because they either had to make a decision quickly or they won't make a decision at all. Right? Because the more they think about it, the more anxious they become. So it's like, let me just make this decision. And sometimes 9 out of 10, because of their impulse, they made the wrong decision.
Would you say anxiety in that case is linked to ADHD? Is there a link between the two?
It could be that there is. So again, it's so funny, but when we're working mental health, we find out that little things are linked together.
Right.
So if you have ADHD, you do have anxiety. Then we find out that you might have a mild autism. Like these do link together because then you find out you're doing things in a certain way. Someone with ADHD do things a certain time, specific season, specific time. However, they might not be able to start and finish something. Right? However, they might say like at 9 p.m. every night, I must do this. That's also a sign of autism.
Okay.
But then anxiety is they don't really have a specific rhythm of how they do things. It's just that, for example, even if they've applied for jobs, they knew they didn't need to apply for them. They applied for 5 jobs. Now maybe they've got all job offers. Now they're anxious of which one to pick.
Go for.
Because now their thing is, what if I pick the wrong one? And what if I pick this one and I'm not liked? What if I pick this one and people look at me a certain way? Maybe because they're anxious or they have anxiety because they have low self-esteem. They might feel like, people might look at me because of my size or the way I look, or the way I dress. Do you know, just things like that. And then they overthink it. And sometimes you find out they don't pick a job at all.
Interesting.
People that actually suffer with anxiety, I think it's about, is it 28%, was it, or 30% of them lose their jobs.
Okay, never knew that.
Because of them constantly being anxious. Because they can't function because of the workload. Then they go home and they keep thinking about their job. Because they know that I didn't finish this task, I have to pick it up tomorrow. But then it's like, even though I'm going to pick up what I didn't complete today, tomorrow, I do also have tomorrow's task. So will I complete tomorrow's task?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get it.
So it's like, people with anxiety, like their
it's
mind
like a cycle.
is on overdrive constantly.
Right.
And another thing with people that have might suffer from anxiety is bad hygiene.
Okay.
Because they're on overdrive, sometimes they even forget to look after themselves, to make sure that their hygiene is prepped properly. And then you have someone that overly looks after their hygiene, and you can smell like, okay, girl, like, this perfume is strong,
You're trying to choke us?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes people with anxiety feel hopeless. And people with anxiety, they cling on to people a lot. They feel like they rely on people. It's like, oh, like...
People pleasers.
Yes.
Right.
Like, oh, I need to do this to be in their good books. Let me do that so that they're happy with me.
Yeah.
Let me do this so that they like me. And then you also find that they also rely on people. So, I can't apply for this job. Can you help me apply for it? Or I need to do shopping. Can you come? They always want someone around.
Company.
Yeah, to feel some sort of comfort.
Okay. Now let's talk about stigmas about mental health. I know, well, like I said, the example I gave earlier with the lady who was, having postpartum depression, they were just like, she's mad.
Yeah.
She's mad. What kind of woman will give birth and now wants to kill her child or get rid of, like, she's mad? What are some of the stigmas around mental health? And how do we overcome it? I mean, obviously, the most obvious, get knowledge about the thing. If you're not sure about something, don't understand the thing, first of all, seek knowledge so you know about the thing. But what are some of the, as people are coming to you as a doctor and you're having these conversations, what are some of the stigmas surrounding mental health, and how can we help those that we know that are facing some sort of mental health, so they don't feel like there's a stigma? Like, sometimes someone be like, oh, she's depressed. If you hang around her too much, you'll also become depressed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that is funny. One of the stigmas I think that I'm finding out, I think I mentioned in the beginning, is to say that, like, us black people, we don't have mental health. Black people are actually the ones that suffer with mental health. I think it's out of 80% of people that suffer from mental health, I think 60% suffer from mental health. 70% of Christians suffer from mental health. Only 30% of people are taking treatment, and the rest of the 40% of them refuse to seek help because of the stigma, because they're going to be judged. I think the stigma, I would say, is that people just feel like black people don't have mental health, and I think I know that it's a broad thing, but I also think it stems from where it's like us black people in general, we have a lot of trust issues. Does that make sense? And for us, it's like, we've been, even in your household, you find out it's like, they say, like, if you overshare, people will use it against you. If you speak up,
we keep our problems to ourselves. The family business stays
in our
house.
family house,
right.
Which I agree, I understand, because you can tell someone your family business and everyone will find out. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
But I think that is the reason why, when it comes to mental, because realistically, if you tell someone you're suffering from mental health, they might go and tell someone that, oh, she said that she's mad, like she's crazy, she's a weirdo. Literally. And then everyone will be like, oh, she's crazy, she's that's the crazy woman.
Right.
But we're refusing to understand that just because someone needs help in a different, because when you're physically sick, it's not a problem. You're able to go to the hospital and get the medication.
Right.
But when it comes to the mental health of aspect, it's like it's frowned upon. It's looked down. It's like, no, like, keep quiet. But I would say to people, sometimes all you need is that extra medication to help you function as normal. And we refuse to take that medication, but we'll take anything for our physical body. But I would say to people that if your mental health is not functions normal, forget your physical body, because I would say, so your mind is thinking, so is your physical body going to feel. So I think the stigma stems from us black people not wanting to share, not wanting to speak up, because we feel like everyone will judge us, everyone's gonna look at us a different way. But I think the way to break that stigma is, what you're saying, is to learn more. Read. Like, all of us have been put here for a reason. I would say to people, especially Christians, that there's souls attached to your name. There are people that you need to help. There are people that you need to support. Because God forbid that it's your family member, your friend, your close person that is suffering mental health and you're unable to help them. You might get married, your husband or your wife might be dealing with depression or anxiety. How do you support them to get through it? You can't say to them, I love you, so why are you depressed? That's not enough. Your love at that time or in the season of their life is not enough. How do you help them maneuver their emotions? And I say that I'll go straight into, but I think one of the things to support someone, again, that has mental health is to just be there for them. Give them a shoulder to lean on. Don't over push them. If, don't get to push people, especially when they're in mental, push them to get better, but don't over push. Because when you're over pushing them, they will literally detach themselves from you because they feel like you're doing too much now. Like, you're taking them out of their comfort zone. And don't speak over them, because I feel like sometimes when you go to someone that has mental health and they're saying to you, like, I feel like, tell them, no, but why do you feel like that? You have this, you have that, you can do this, you have the ability. They know they have the ability, but now you're not listening to them, you're talking at them instead of listening to them.
Right.
So it's better to sometimes listen to them and validate, like, let them feel validated. Like, let them understand that I hear you, I'm with you, and we'll do it at your pace. A day at a time is perfectly fine. Even if it's going to take you 2 years to come out of it, I'm still going to be done.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, time flies when you're having fun, man. Okay, our time is flying, so I'm just going to throw a couple more questions at you. And then, in your work, in this industry, in this field that you're in, I have to ask. Because, there's people that sometimes someone will come and tell you their problems, dump their problems on you, and they're out there having a good time because it's not their problem anymore. Like, you take on their problem. So how do you stay sane, for a lack of a better word, in this industry? Does your job affect your mental health?
100%. I'm going to be so real. 110%. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's so fun that you brought this up, because I was speaking to my husband couple of days ago.
Shout out to him.
And I would literally say, like, so my phone don't stop ringing. That's the truth. My phone doesn't stop ringing. I have my mentees call me at any time. I have my family members, like, I would have my mom be like, oh, can you read this letter for me? Log into my email. And I know it has nothing to do with her asking me kind of like to help her mentally, but that's her dumping basically her stuff onto me, right? That also adds on to all the stuff that I basically already have and I have to action, correct? Right. But I've had to come to the point where I have to have something called me time. Me time is a season. There's funny thing, I'm saying me time, but there's some of my close friends that me time doesn't relate to, especially her sitting here. Like,
first of all, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Like, if she calls me, like, I'm gonna pick up. But what I'm trying to say is that...
But you could just tell me I'm having me
time. No, like, you just be on the phone, bro, and we'll be silent. We'll be silent on the phone together. Like, I'll literally tell her, I'm going through it, let's just be silent. And we'll be silent. It's okay. She'll be like, okay, fair enough. And she'll just be typing away or whatever. Which is fine. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, I have to remember, like, from about when I get home, especially now that I'm working in the office, from about 8 to 10 p.m. is me time. Because when I've gotten home, I've been on the go, and then also remember, I have to be a wife to my husband, so I have to kind of like be nice. You can't come home and be frowning. So it's like all of that takes out of my mean time, and then it's like time for me to wind up. But having me time, even if it's just an hour for myself, I need it. Even if it's me just laying down and staring at the ceiling, it's me time. Right. And this is going out to anyone that feel like you're overly stimulated, even if it's you suffering from anxiety or suffering from depression or whatever, something that you're dealing with that's a lot. You need me time. Even when I know that people say that I have children, I can't have me time, because the moment I'm running into the bathroom, they're gonna chase me. Lock yourself in that toilet, sister. Lock yourself into that toilet, brother. Do that meantime, even if it's 10 minutes, just breathe. Because you realize that 10, 15 minutes makes a big difference. Okay. And if you're someone that you have partners as well, let them know that, okay, like, from this time to this time, I just want to wind down. Like, I just want to be alone. Communicating effectively. But I think for me, yeah, it does affect my mental health, because I carry everyone else's burden. And then I feel like, oh my God, like, how can I be better for them? How can I help them? What's the best way? And then I try to kind of, so you have someone tell me, you know, can you meet up with me today? Can you meet up with me tomorrow? And then you find out that, you know, your schedule clashes and then you can't meet up with them, and then you feel bad, because then you take that, you know, because I have guilty conscience, you take that for like, I'm guilty, like, oh, I'm going to be okay. Right. But if I'm unable to take care of myself, I won't be able to be there to support anyone else. So my thing that I have started taking pride in, especially, is me time.
Amazing. Okay, right now, as we're about to wind down, so you can go and have some me time. You know, it's a Saturday, you can have some me time. Okay, 2 questions. Actually, one question. Then I'll give you the quote of the day, and you explain to me what the quote of the day means to you. What season? Okay, where are you? What season of your life are you in? Or you can even answer that, or you can answer, what have you learned in the season of your life that you're in?
Okay. I think this is funny. I'm in the season of protecting my own. I know you guys thinking, but what I'm trying to say is that I'm actually a very open person. And if you're my friend, I will let you in my household very quickly. And speaking on mental health, you know, when you open up to someone very quickly, and let's say if the person is not there to stay, and eventually in 6 months, a year or two, they leave, it's like, oh damn, what a time I wasted because you've left. But I'm in the season where it's like I've realized that whoever I bring into my home doesn't only affect me, but it affects my husband, right? My husband's like an open book. If I bring someone and I like them, he's going to love them regardless. But in the moment they leave, he's gonna think, like, what was the point of that? We've had all of that. We've opened up, we've liked you, and then you've left.
Right.
So I'm in the season of protecting my own for my own mental health. So if you find out that I'm not open up as much, it's not because I don't like you.
She's lying, y'all. She don't like you.
It's not because I don't like you, but I think, like you're saying, I think the second question is like, what have you learned in that season? I've learned in my season is that you open up too quickly, and then people don't give you the same energy, or they're not there to stay. And then it's like, oh, you've got to kind of like close that chapter, and then someone else comes. So yeah, my season is just definitely to protect my own.
Amazing. Now, this is the quote of the day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the quote of the day,
Yeah.
and then you tell me what it means to you.
Okay.
And then we'll sign off. So, the quote of the day, and I saw this, I think yesterday, and it says, "You are not your mental illness."
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Yeah, you are not your mental illness. So anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, whatever you are going through, even if it's autism, ADHD, you are not your mental health. And what that means to me, per se, I would say is that truth of the matter is as well, another thing is that when people say they have ADHD, they have autism, they are depressed, people cater to them based on their depression.
Right.
So it's like you have now become depression. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
So it's like people are, oh, she has anxiety. It's like everything is, she has anxiety, so let's not invite her. She has anxiety, so let's not invite her out. She has anxiety, so let's just leave him or her. You know, it's like people seclude you because you now said you have social anxiety. You are not your mental health.
Right.
Just because that is what you are facing right now, that doesn't mean that is who.
Perfect. And finish off this sentence for me before we sign out.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's okay to
be. Damn, there's so much that's coming to mind. Okay, it's okay not to be yourself.
Okay.
It's okay not to be yourself. I know you're thinking, but it's okay not to be yourself. I think, again, I'm gonna say about the Black community, it's like everyone feels like you're supposed to have it all. But it's okay not to have it all. It's okay not to be yourself in that moment. It's okay to, I don't want to say indulge your vulnerability, but it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's actually okay because it's through your vulnerability that you learn things that you like, things that you don't like, things that you tolerate, things that you won't let happen again, you know, in your vulnerability.
God knows we learned some things. Go on.
So it's okay not to be yourself.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my guest for today, Dr. Leslie Boateng Edu. Before I let you go, what's next and where can we find you? What's your socials? What's next? Where can we find you?
Okay, so I'm going to direct you straight to my Faith and Bloom page. It's _Faith and Bloom. That's where you can find me. We have something coming up in September where I would love for you guys to come. So please follow and yeah, we'll be there.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for honoring my invite. Guys, it has been your girl, Noelle Francesca, on Talks with Noelle. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we go, I want to give a big shout out to Janelle Interior for this amazing pillows that they gifted me.
Yes.
So thank you to Janelle Interiors. You can find them on Instagram at Janelle_Interiors. Shout out to Haven Talk Studio. And this suit was by Dennis Lamar. You know, so that's Lamar_Dennis on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you've learned something. We hope you've enjoyed today's session, and we will see you soon. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.
Talk sweet Noelle. Talk sweet Noelle. Talk sweet Noelle. Talk sweet Noelle. Yeah.